Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We are talking about a miraculous new way of being with the Seraphim angels and our guest today, Riana Arendse. If you have not been exposed to this beautiful leader of working with the Seraphim angels, Riana Arendse is so special. You may already even be feeling the vibration. When we are in a space like this, it is so lovely, exquisite, and precious. So we hope that you can feel this, and we hope that you enjoy today's episode. Let's welcome Riana back to Quantum Conversations. Hello, Riana.
Hello, Lauren, everyone on the call. I'm so excited. I was looking forward to this the entire day. And here in South Africa, we have something called load shedding. So we have periods of time when our electricity is off. So I had a lot of hours today to really just tune in to this collective that will be listening to this call, and to those that will be listening to the replay, and just tuning to what is needed and what wants to come through for everyone today. So I'm excited to dive in. Thank you so much, Lauren.
Oh, well, with much pleasure. We love that you are here. And we are on audio only today because of the load shedding. And
Yes.
that's the incredible thing. I lived on Guam and I remember load shedding. It is where there's rolling blackouts for power. And isn't it beautiful that we can still be present in this audio technology? So
Oh, absolutely.
nothing will stop us. Nothing will stop us. Okay. All right. Well, then our Zoom audience, if you've got comments or questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A. The Q&A box is great for your questions. But let's go ahead and first I want to congratulate you, Riana, on your new book. It is A Miraculous New Way of Being. That's quite a feat.
Yeah.
Again, kudos.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was divinely inspired. I yet again went through a huge initiation, the biggest one I've ever went through. I believe at the time you knew I was sick at the time, and I actually had a near-death experience. And I was almost cocooned at the precipice of death for like months upon months. And for 2 years, I went through this initiation and this transitory period of deep surrender and deep receiving and deep embodiment. And this is where this book was birthed from that experience, and all that I was able to discover and realize within myself and within the collective, and everything that wants to come through for everyone, everything that everyone is really seeking for. I was able to sort of feel into that and really realize that within myself, and then bring that through in a book for those who are ready to receive, for those that are, the seekers and the healers and the teachers and the visionaries of this world, that have sort of been students and learners on the spiritual path for years and decades and the entire lifetime. So this is really for those that are here, that's on the spiritual path. And so this is what the program is also about. My upcoming program is based on the book, but there's a lot of practical application in terms of journeying, and I don't want to call them processes, because it's really beyond processes. It's really beyond tools. It's really beyond intermediaries. It's really beyond anything you have to do. It's rather a state of being. It's returning to what is already in existence, and that is your natural essence, your ancient blueprint, your connection to all that is. And so the program is really based on the book, and it just progresses from there.
Wow. Okay. It is amazing to witness the changes that people go through. This initiation that you went through, it's an up leveling. Would you describe it as an up leveling, up leveling of your physical beingness, perhaps even more expansive into your subtle bodies? But um, can you share more on maybe the near-death experience, what that was like for you, and how you feel now on the other side of it?
Wow, yeah, that's a very that's a very beautiful question actually, because when I didn't expect to go through something like that. I mean, my entire life up until that point was just a lifetime of healing and transmuting and just, I didn't even, I never got a chance to really live because I was constantly healing, constantly searching and seeking and striving and trying and fixing and I'd healed so much up until that point, and I was already in the business or in the work of being a spiritual leader or a healer or a teacher. And so I didn't expect that to happen. But when it did happen, it sort of shook me because that was the first time in my life that I was, um, it's like I was put into a pot of terror and fear. That's how I can describe it. And I had experienced fear all my life, terror, fear, pain, suffering. But this was something completely different. I'd never, ever experienced something like this before. And when I asked my team of counsel, my guides, what is going on? Why do I need to go through this? I thought I went through all that I needed to go through already. And I was specifically told that it's not that everyone needs to go through it, but it was very specific to my path because of what I am sort of here to bring forward and to embody and to teach and awaken within others their own divinity, their own power, their own sovereignty. And so it was very specific to me. It was almost designed by me for me. And so it just happened overnight when my body went into complete shock. um, I was I was in between what felt like this world and the afterlife, and I was on the precipice of it, and I could feel my organs shut down. I could feel my body almost not being alive anymore, and I could almost see and sense my physical vessel here, and I was like 1 foot here and 1 foot in on the other side, and I was communicating. I could see and perceive and receive all of these guidance and messages from my team. And for a while, I wasn't receiving any messages, and so I was in a lot of shock and a lot of fear because I had no idea what was happening, and I literally thought I was going to die. And I realized um, when doctors couldn't pinpoint what it was, even though my body was shutting down, my body was going into shock. No one could like pinpoint what it was because there was so many things happening in my body all at once. And I was bedridden for months upon months. For 2 years, I had not gone out or left my house except to go to the doctor. That for 2 years, I was cocooned in my room. There were days where I couldn't function. I couldn't walk to the bathroom. I couldn't communicate with people. I literally couldn't function in this world. And it was like I was placed into, I don't know what to call it, but it felt like the underworld. It felt like I was in my own hell, if I could say it like that. Felt like I was in my own hell. And as I progressed forward through that and experienced a lot of fear, a lot of terror, a lot of surrender, a lot of just giving in, a lot of just allowing my body to transform and my mind and my emotions, I realized that this was very acutely designed for me for the specific purpose for my embodiment and what I was about to teach and bring forward. And then obviously the book was birthed from that. It took me months still to recover and get back to normal functioning, normal life, because my body had to adjust to just a new way of being. I was almost being born anew once again. But this time I could feel a different type of strength, a different type of power, a different type of light exude from me much more than it had been before. And it, 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 it felt so different. I can tell you that 2 years prior to that, I was Riana. 2 years after that, I was so much more than just the persona Riana. I was the divine self embodied in form.
Wow.
And that is what I sort of mirror and bring forward to everyone else that sort of seeks my work and my teachings. I'm really just a mirror reflecting back to you your own qualities, your own power. Because when I look at everyone else, you know, I see the perfection and the beauty and the purity in everyone else. And it's such a joy for me to see it. When I realize that my clients can't see it within themselves, that is where the upheaval begins, because I can see their potential, I can see their highest timelines, I can see the possibilities and potentialities that is there for them, that wants to be birthed for them. And so then I help them transition from that limited perspective to seeing themselves as they truly are. And this is the new miraculous way of being. This is what the book entails and what it's about.
Well, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story. And I just want to say that because you've gone through this, you are assisting others in doing this. So you say that you've acutely designed it by your higher self, by your soul. That is taking responsibility for it, not blaming or worrying. The transcension of fear that you had to move through is commendable. It sounds like this is your own ascension journey. Now here you are, embodied even more. So can I ask, here you're a mother, you're a wife, not only a beautiful spiritual teacher. How did your family take it? What was that like? I mean, this is all part of it, and it's wonderful to hear that we can be a wife and a mother, a parent, and a spouse as we go through this journey. How is everything in that realm settling for you?
That's the funny thing, because when this whole thing started, this last initiation began for me, I was bedridden. I couldn't function properly most of the time. And I would lay there at times and I would look at my 3-year-old or 2-year-old son at the time, and I couldn't play with him. I
Mhm.
couldn't go out to go and take him to wherever he needs to be. I couldn't go outside and do the things I wanted to do. And a lot of the time I felt so much guilt, and
Uh-huh.
I blamed myself for
Mm.
being on this path because I couldn't be with my son. And even that part of me that felt guilty and felt ashamed and felt um, just bad about being where I was and how I was, what I was going through, even that part of me, um, I needed to embrace. I needed to hold space for that part of me to heal and to come back to the truth and realize the truth that even my son is on his own journey. His soul also has a specific journey for him in his lifetime. And even though as a mother, there were times I felt guilty for it, I realized that this periods, these moments, these experiences are happening the way that it needs to happen. It's not going to be forever. And I surrendered to that. And I embraced that. And I knew there were going to be moments in the future where I would be able to spend time with my son. And I did, and I have. My family, they was very worried, in a sense that they didn't understand what was happening, because they I don't even think that they really know what I do in terms of being a spiritual teacher, because they still quite religious in a sense. But um, I couldn't, it wasn't something that I could explain to them that they would understand at that level. And so I just almost stayed in my cocoon, allowed myself to be alone in that space. And I was literally alone for 2 years. I really didn't have a support structure with me. I was purely alone. Um, and so I allowed myself to move through that. And once I came out of it naturally and slowly, I began to sort of um, give a little bit of explanation to those that were seeking answers. But there's only so much that certain people can understand at their level of consciousness when they're not really open to certain ways of being, certain spiritual paths. And so I literally had to walk the path alone. I didn't have a support structure. I didn't really have people that could understand what I was going through. And I was doing it all by myself. And I think I was meant to do it by myself because it really allowed me to be isolated for a period of time so that my body, my mind, my heart, my soul could really come together without any interference from anyone outside of myself.
Wow. Okay, what a journey. Seriously, that is really commendable. I'll say it one more time. And it is helpful for all of us because it's honorable, the hope. You never gave up hope. You knew, and your guides, you tuned into your guides. So let's talk about the Seraphim angels. This is really how they came to you earlier in your life, and you began working with them on this healing journey that took on a different form that you did all through your life. What was it like with the Seraphim angels through this process?
Well, my guides, when I speak about guides, I refer to all of them really, all of the people that the beings of light that work with me. They were there, they were present with me during the whole process, but most of the time I wouldn't get answers. And I needed to just allow the moment to be as it was. I needed to go through the motions of everything I was going through without any intermediaries most of the time. And only once I reached a certain level or goal or certain threshold, then they would step forward and say, oh, well done, Riana, you've really accomplished something. We didn't think you would have gotten through this part, but you have passed it with flying colors. And then they would step forward once something was complete, and then they would step back again, and the next wave would come. And so the connection between me and my guides was very minimal during that 2-year period of time. And I can understand that now. Why? Because they really wanted me to trust myself. They
Yes.
really wanted me to cultivate a deep trust within my own being. And when I emerged from that, I realized that there was no separation between me and my guides. There was no separation, because when I started to speak and I started to teach and I started to help others through their transitions and their thresholds and their embodiments and their healing, it wasn't Riana, the personality, that was speaking, or Riana channeling the Seraphim anymore. It was me embodying all of that coming through me. There was no separation. There was no intermediary. There was no tool process. It was just all there in the moment. In the moment, the present moment is where you can access all of your power, all of your knowing, all of who you are. And that's what it feels like now. It feels like it's just the divine source force that is moving through me. And I created so much space within myself to allow that flow of energy to move through me. And it's funny that I say that now, because when I tuned in to the collective just prior to the call, the one thing I sort of tuned in to see what does this group, this community, what do they need today? Is it a healing? Is it a message? Is it an activation? Is it initiation and attunement? What is it that they need? And what came up for the collective was this, the word that I saw in my mind's eye was de-solidification or de-solidifying. So there's these solid particles or solid constructs or solid belief structures or solid traumas or wounds or resistances within some of our fields, whether it's within the mind, whether it's within the solar plexus, whether it's within the heart, whether it's within your emotional body, your etheric, energetic body. There's this need and this longing that your soul, it's really stepping forward now, that your soul is longing to have this source energy, your source energy, to flow freely through you, to express itself freely through you. And what is happening is there's almost this restriction within the field that is not allowing the full flow of this energy to move through. And so today's process, when we get there, it's really focused on softening those hard, solid parts that have solidified, softening them and allowing them to flow through. And that's really what today is all about, releasing all of those hard restrictions and limitations and beliefs and fears and emotions through the body. I completely forgot what I was saying now.
No, that's beautiful, because
Oh,
our soul is longing for this source energy to flow with us, but
yes.
there's things that are keeping us in place. There's resistance, restrictions, beliefs, old patterns. And so that's what we're going to do. This is a great time to go more deeply into that, because I think that we're all feeling it. And what you did in your own life was surrender. So I want to go back to that key word, because the surrender to ourself, to our own inner knowing. You are not alone when you experience what you felt as being alone, left alone from your guides, not in contact. They were there, of course, but they were giving you the space for you to understand your knowingness within. And so that's for our journey as well, for us to, no matter what, like, there's even been times, I'm getting chills as I speak, there's times where we could go through something that's pretty heavy and intense, and it's a natural instinct to want to reach out and say, someone's got to help me. Someone's got to help me. I got to talk to someone, whether it's a friend or whatever. Or maybe it's a spiritual teacher, or it's a counselor or a mentor. It's someone, I need someone to help me. And then when we don't get that, there's a level of peace when we can say, wait a minute, I do know deep within that it will be all right. And so what you're going to do for us today is a process that will soften those hard, solid parts of us, right? The rigidity within us. But I think
Yes.
it's really key to know that witnessing you doing it and trusting it, there's that word again, trust, that's part of the journey. We can't forget that this part of the journey, trusting ourselves, being able to rise above all fear like you did. That, again, I just want to say, the fear that you went through for 2 years, going through that, having to transcend that, it is commendable and honorable. So that's what we're here to do today. As you've coined it, it's a miraculous new way of being. So before we do the process, the beautiful time with the angels, we can already feel them with us. What is a miraculous new way of being, if you could quantify that for us?
Absolutely. I was just about to bring out to bring the awareness to that point. I want to refer back to one specific huge teaching that I realized and sort of really began to embody during my initiation period, was that we are so we for so long we've forgotten, right? We've forgotten who we truly are. And obviously this ascension journey is about remembering and about realizing once again who we are and begin to embody that in form, being the walking embodiment of our highest potential. And that obviously is not an easy journey, because we are seeking and we're searching and we're trying and we're fixing. And what I realized in that period of time that I went through was that the part of me that was seeking and searching and trying to fix and trying to reach for a moment of relief, or trying to reach for a day in the future when I'll be happy, was the part of me that is constructed. It was the ego. It was my personality, Riana. It was the me, the small self that was conditioned and created within this lifetime. And it was not the entire totality of who I was. And when I realized that it was just a small part of me that there was a larger aspect to me that I was not identifying with and as enough, so that it almost leads the way. There was a part of me, the ego, that was still trying to control, was still trying to lead, still trying to take the reins and try and make things happen and try and make sure that things don't go wrong and things go to plan, and had this vision for the future. But there was a greater aspect of myself that wanted to be birthed through me fully, completely, permanently, not just momentarily, but permanently, that wanted to lead the way. The ego was always one that is going to see itself as broken, as limited, as not enough, as this doesn't feel good. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in the present moment because it doesn't feel good. I feel uncomfortable. It feels challenging. So I'm going to focus on the future, or I'm going to think about the past, and I'm not going to be here and now. I'm going to abandon myself in the present moment because this doesn't feel good. That's the ego. Now, the ego is very important because the ego is the part of you that is going to be the vessel, the vessel that's going to allow your divine expression to move through you. It's going to be the expression of your soul. But what is happening is we've allowed that small part of ourselves to become the dominant force in our lives. And so we are stuck in suffering, we are stuck in survival mode, we are stuck in searching, we are stuck in seeking, we are stuck in trying and fixing. But the reality is, when we connect to the divine part of our being, we realize then that truly there is nothing to fix, that we are already perfect, that we are already whole. The perspective of which the ego sees through is a lens that is conditioned, is a lens that has been created throughout experiences throughout this lifetime and from past experiences and situations and beliefs. And when we begin to identify more so with that existential part of our being, and we allow that force, that source, that flow of divine energy to move through us, the ego then naturally steps aside and begins to follow suit. And when this happens, guess what happens? Miracles happen. Why? Because you no longer identifying with a limited perspective. You are now identifying and seeing yourself through the eyes of God, through the eyes of Source, your natural state of being. And that was the huge pivotal turning point in my journey. It's not that I never knew this in theory. I had embodied it before on occasion, on times when I was in session, when I was doing calls, but it wasn't a permanent thing. It wasn't a permanent thing that I could just be always, constantly. And that transitory period, that initiation period, really allowed me to surrender so deeply into that state of being and into that connection, that there was nothing that I could go through. My body was suffering. I was in pain. I couldn't think straight. My mind couldn't focus. I was in terror and fear constantly. And even though I was going through that, there was a still part of my being that was very immovable. It was unshakable. It just stayed pure, complete, and true, and nothing could shake it. And when I tuned into that and I surrendered to that power within my own being, not outside of myself, within my own being, none of the pain, the experiences of challenge, the disorientation, the shaking in my body, the fatigue, none of that no longer affected me. I could feel the discomfort, but there was no longer a story attached to the discomfort, to the experience. I was neutral. It was just an experience. And I could see it that it was just an experience. And I realized, Riana, you might not understand why this is happening to you right now, why you are experiencing this challenging, traumatic moment or hours or days, but you know that it's serving you. You know there is a benefit in it for you. You are so masterful that you've designed that for you, because you knew you could master your journey. You knew you could come back to your self-realization. You knew you could actualize once again that deep embodiment, that integration with source consciousness, with God. And you are so masterful that you've created all of this for you. That is how magnificent you are. And when you tune into that, you align with that, not just in theory, but through embodiment, through anchoring and integrating and grounding and stabilizing that knowing into your nervous system, into form, into your heart, and you begin to become a walking embodiment of that truth. That is a new miraculous way of being. It's about returning to your natural essence, your natural ancient tapestry of wisdom, of miracles, of knowing that you already possess within you. And this is what the journey entails. When you come and you step into my container, my sacred space, my program, my calls, my teachings, it's not anything that I am giving you that you don't already know. You have all of the wisdom within you. I'm merely just holding the space for you to realize your own perfection, your own way of being, your own source, God, self. And I always say this to my students and my followers, because they're always asking me, but I want to do this work, but I don't have the gifts and abilities. I can't read people's past lives, and I can't do this, and I don't have the confidence, and I don't have this, and I don't know how to do this. And I always tell them it's not what you do or what you know or the tools and the processes or the gifts and the abilities or your accumulation of certifications or degrees that you have that makes the biggest difference in your clients and your lives. It is your state of being. Your state of being is how you serve. It is what decides what is called to you and what is propelled from you. Your state of being allows you to be so expansive that you have access to things, potentials, ways of being, gifts and abilities that you never had access to before. It is your gift to the world. And this is what we are almost mirroring and giving to those that are ready to heed the call. And I know that there are many people that are listening to this and that will listen to this that have tried and tested everything. They've healed and still healing. They've been through the whole gambit of the ascension journey, and they're tired. They are tired of the struggle. They are tired of the trying. They're tired of not being able to fully feel and be liberated. And that is what is calling you here today. That is what is calling you home today. And so hopefully with this beautiful sacred container that has been designed for all of you today, which you've designed for yourself, you will allow yourself to really come back into that realization where you can trust yourself, trust your path, allow yourself to flow freely and express yourself fully as you want it to be. And it's not that you have to adhere to any old matrix paradigms and limitations and boxes and personas, and this is how you need to do it, this is how you need to look, this is how it needs to be presented. Forget about all of that. You are here to go first. You're here to forge the way. You're here to do something that has never been done before in this temporary vessel that you embody. You are here to be a new type of embodiment. And so I want to move into the process now, if that's okay, Lauren.
Oh, yes. So beautiful. Assist us with that state of being. It's powerful. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. I just want to take a sip of water. All right. So I'm lovingly inviting everyone now to just close your eyes, if you will. And the closing of your eyes is merely just an invitation for you to go inward, to go deeper within yourself. And what this should feel like, it should feel like a softening of the body, a softening of the mind, a softening of the heart, the soul, just a softening, almost as if you are sinking into yourself. as if you were sinking into the bed, into the chair. Everything just suddenly softens beautifully. The nervous system settles down. Everything comes together harmoniously in this space, in this place, in this moment right now. This moment, beloved Master. And I say, beloved Master, and I can feel the shift within your consciousness because there's a remembering. There's a remembering that is happening within you when you are called Master. And we say to you today, beloved Master, that we will continue to address you as masters because that is who you are. And we will continue to call you as you are, as masters, as gods and goddesses, until you realize and remember and embody who you are. Just feeling now the resonance with that in your soul and in your heart. The process that we're going to be doing today is designed to help you access and realize a deeper connection within yourself. To be able to access more of who you are than you have been able to access your entire life so far. And I'm going to invoke the presence of the collective of the Seraphim to step forward now in this space. Calling forth the Elohim as well. And the best ascended teachers and masters that will assist with this beautiful journey and process today. And as they step forward with their beautiful shining light, this light shines upon you, beloved. It shines upon you so brightly and it illuminates your being. And what this light is merely just mirroring to you the qualities that you already possess. Take a moment and just feel the presence of these beautiful beings. That is surrounding you in their love, in their light. Asking you now, beloved Master, to open and receive. Breathing in a white golden light. And every time you breathe in this light, it's almost as if these hard, solidified parts within your body begins to melt. And it almost looks like melting metal or like melting gold. All of these hard parts just begins to melt instantly as you connect to this frequency, to this light. Beautiful. You are going to be given a vision or a visual now in your mind's eye, or whichever way you perceive, whether it's physical or through your body, your senses, your knowing, your seeing, your hearing, whichever senses works best and is more comfortable for you. You're going to receive a vision now. And this vision is a dream or a goal or a huge creation that wants to be birthed through you. The divine would like to anchor the seed into your awareness now for you, beloved Master. This is a seed that is ready to begin sprouting. It's a seed that is ready to begin blooming. It's a seed that has been inactive for a very long time. Probably because you thought this dream or this vision was too big to actualize. And the divine says now that this is the moment to put this dream and this vision into your experience, to begin embodying the potential and the possibilities for this dream to actually manifest in your world. Taking a moment now to just receive this vision of what your life or your embodiment looks like, could look like, will look like, already is. It's almost as if you are perceiving and seeing your life and yourself through the eyes of God. So I'm going to bring through a sound or a tone now. Allow yourself to feel and receive the vibration of this tone. Feel this tone and the sound move through you. Receive, receive, receive. Whew. What it looks like now is I can see two angels stepping forward for each of you today. And there's one on each side of you, just behind your back. It almost takes my breath away as that their frequency stepped forward now. This is about your realization, your next level of embodiment. It is about anchoring in and stabilizing and grounding more of your essence into form. Throwing away the limitations and the boxes and the masks and the personas and the old ways of being. allowing that to transform, allowing you to align yourself with a higher existential way of being. The you that can never die, the you that will always exist, the you that is eternal, the you that is creation, that is the creator of creation, the you that is the air and the creator of the air and the one that breathes the air. You are all of it. Recognizing and realizing now in this moment your vast magnificence. You have two beautiful angels standing next to you now. Realigning your frequency. I can see for some or one of you specifically, there's a realignment of the spine happening. And this might have appeared as middle to upper back pain or shoulder pain or tenseness within the shoulders or back. This is being realigned now in this moment. There's an alignment happening. You are aligning with the part of you that knows its perfection, that knows its worth, that knows its power. Bringing you into the resting awareness of the soul. Beyond all healing, beyond all trying, beyond all fixing, beyond all suffering, beyond all thresholds, beyond all ceilings. It is beyond all of that. You are beyond all of that. Now being encompassed with a beautiful purple light now swirling, coming from the top of your soul star chakra now, and swirling down and around your field. There we go. Just allow that to move through you now. This is for integration and anchoring and stabilizing all that was released and transformed within the etheric and the energetic, now anchoring and stabilizing into form, grounding into form, this knowing, this state of being, this last truth of who you are, this knowing, this wisdom, this all-encompassing presence. And this is always accessible to you in the now moment. Breathing in now the purple light. With each inhalation, more of your knowingness is integrated and grounded and stabilized. Beautiful, beautiful. Such a huge expansion within your fields, and what it looks like energetically is it looks like a flowing, beautiful flowing river of light flowing through you now. Just allowing it to flow. You feel so spacious and open and receptive. You feel nourished. And I ask on behalf of all of you today that all that needs to be revealed is revealed, and all that needs to be healed is healed. We ask and we claim and we know, we see, we hear and we trust, and we give thanks for perfect inspiration, transformation, awakening, and empowerment. We give thanks for our improving health, our wealth, our sacred visibility. We give thanks for our happiness, our connection with Source, and our harmony with ourselves. We give thanks for all the blessings and all the pleasures and treasures of our lives. And I can see your energetic fields now stepping away and coming back to this reality now, to this moment here now. And as you are doing that, the angels are walking with you. And this is a sign, a signal for me to let me know that they're going to be walking with you more closely, more intimately going forward. And so over the next few days and weeks, as you experience your days and experience certain synchronicities and certain experiences, these are just confirmation that they are with you, walking with you through your individual initiations, through your pathways, and helping you accelerate that remembrance, that realization, that actualization, and that embodiment into form, and bringing that vision to life, because it is already in existence. It is already in existence. All you are doing now is lining up through your state of being to that moment in time when you will experience all that you are in tangible form. And all you have to do in any given moment is return to this now present moment. Do not abandon yourself in the present moment. Embrace yourself in the present moment. And I want to just remind you all today that there are so many experiences that we have that are challenging and uncomfortable and difficult. And there are parts of ourselves we want to get rid of, we want to push aside, we don't want to deal with that parts anymore. But I say to you today, what if the part of you that you are resisting, that you are denying, that you are suppressing is in fact your inner child? How differently would you respond to that situation, to that experience? Knowing that that part of you is not a shadow, it is your inner child clamoring for love. And for you to realize the gold in every experience, to realize grace in every experience, means that you need to be in every experience, softening, flowing, deepening, and allowing that process to move through you. And so quickly you will realize miracles in your own lives, and you will be the embodiment of miracles. Beloved, thank you. Coming back now into the physical bodies now, as you open your eyes slowly, just becoming aware of any 3 colors in your room, anchoring in this very present moment now.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So beautiful. We have been uplifted, and actually it's softened and very present. It feels as if there's no work to do.
Yeah.
Except to just soften to this.
Yeah. That's all you ever need to do, really, in any moment. Just soften. Soften. Because
It would
whatever you're
be,
experiencing in any moment is only temporary. It really is only temporary. And the more that we resist it, the more that we deny it, the more that we try to fix it and push it away, the more we are delaying the natural process of healing.
just letting that soak in. And the vision that we have of ourselves, it would be beautiful to hear from those in our Zoom audience. What was that for you? How did you see that vision of you? For me, it felt incredibly relieving of all judgment, judgment of self, judgment of others, mm, judgment of what we perceive as wrong with the world. And that was so beautiful. That was beautiful for me. And it's unique to each of us. So please share. We would love, absolutely love to hear your experience. Linda says, that was so beautiful. Wow. Feeling such peace and tranquility with such grace. Yes.
Beautiful.
Shelley says, very grateful. Thank you. Doug, thank you, Doug. Doug says, super. Many blessings. Felt very golden. Yes. Shelley says, peaceful grace. Very beautiful. This is Source moving through us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just a state of being that we have forgotten. We've forgotten our natural state, our natural way of being. And now we're returning back to that. We're returning back to that. Eventually, you get to a point where everything you've learned, all of the theory in mind, everything you've attained, eventually you need to sort of just let all of that go and just come back to the most simple truth that exists within your own being, because you have everything within you. And I know it sounds cliche because you always hear that, but truly, when you walk the path and you begin to expand and embody a state of being that is so great, that is who you are, you truly realize yourself to be so much more. There are things about yourself that naturally turns on, switches on, comes to life, activates. And you would have never thought before that these that you could have been that way, or you could have done that thing, you could have experienced that thing, but it's there within you. When you deny yourself in the present moment, you're denying your highest timeline, your highest potentials, your highest possibilities. Your state of being is how you serve, and that is the only thing you ever need to focus on. And your state of being is the ability to be spacious and soft enough to allow everything to move through you as it wants to move through you, as it wants to be birthed through you, as it wants to transform through you, and as it wants to express through you. Sometimes we say to ourselves, okay, but I want to look like this, and I want to be able to have this image, and I want to be able to sound like this, and so I'm going to create this whole monologue and this whole thing to make me look and be, so people can perceive me in a certain way. But when we do that, we are limiting ourselves. We are placing ourselves once again in a box, and that doesn't allow for much room for source to actually come through and express itself as it wants to. It's almost this theory that strengthen your own lane. Stop focusing on anyone else's journey, on what they're doing, on what they're achieving. When you focus and strengthen your own lane, you might just realize that you can fly, and you won't need to stay 2 steps ahead of everyone else. You might just realize you can soar. And I always say this, but when we surrender, we jump off that cliff, off that mountain. It's not about being caught by the divine. It's about realizing that you actually have wings to fly. It's about realizing that when you surrender so deeply and you begin to trust so deeply that everything serves you, that everything benefits you, your wings naturally expands and you naturally soar and you realize your strength, if not for the very first time.
That is beautiful. And your words are helping us stabilize this sacred state of being. It is natural, beautiful. I want to share more comments, just incredible comments coming in. Sophia Grace says, very busy morning, and this centered me perfectly. And we can do this in every moment. That is what you're expressing and teaching us today, Riana, is we have this, we do it
Yes,
in every moment.
absolutely.
Yes. And that beingness is the power for miracles and for the highest timelines. All right, that is real power. Seraphina says, whoosh, I saw my crown and third eye as gold and green leaves, and my eyes were at the top of a tree, grounded, tall, rooted, roots intersecting with so many trees, rising up, many trees. We rose up and held limbs, and then we all started toning with Riana, and the water was cleansed, and the light and water flowed through my trunk, and I too was cleansed.
Wow.
I cried with joy.
Wow.
Thank you, Seraphina. Kathy says, my shoulder feels better, less tightness.
Yep, there was definitely some misalignments in the spine area for some of you. Imbalances that were corrected and aligned. Beautiful, beautiful. I love that.
Barbara says, thank you so much for the reminder. My shoulders open too. Yay. Bless you. Linda says, your words are helping me to remember this sacred state of being. Thank you so much. Yes, this is real empowerment. Suzanne says, it was beautiful to travel deep into our soul, let go of everything, and feel that freedom again. It is freedom.
Yes.
It is freedom from mind constructs. From the shoulds. It's freedom from control, our need to be in control. That is so beautiful. And Linda says, yeah, the freedom from being in control. That sounds like a oxymoron, but
yeah.
freedom from being
Yeah.
in control. We are in control when we're free from being in control.
Absolutely. When you release control, you are surrendering to your highest timeline. You are surrendering to the part of you that knows exactly how to bring things to fruition for you and the greatest visions and the greatest possibilities for you. If you are trying to control things, you are actually limiting yourself from ever experiencing what actually wants to manifest for you, what actually wants to be realized through you, your potential, all of that. And I always say there's two things coming to mind now that is important on this path, and that is a faithful heart that comes back to trust once again, and a surrendered mind. If you can surrender your mind and you can hold on to the trust in your heart, and you can cultivate that every single day, moment to moment, allow that to become your natural way of being, that's half the work done already. Then you are through, because your heart is in alignment, your heart knows, your heart trusts, even when you cannot see why and you cannot understand. And when your mind is surrendered, that means that you're not limiting yourselves anymore to old ways of being, to boxes, to constructs, to structures, to just limited views and pathways and possibilities and opportunities, you're now expanded and things begin to open up for you in miraculous new ways.
All right, so wonderful. We are really stabilizing this state of being. Beautiful. I have some more comments to share. Linda says, I think I got aligned in my spine. Thank you, Linda.
You did, yes.
Uh-huh.
You did. I can feel that.
Elizabeth says, I went somewhere deep and returned with a peaceful feeling, and I felt the presence of the two angels. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yes, I
So
know.
beautiful.
I actually had to lay down during that process, and I went very deep as well. And it's so lovely. I guess the surrender, it's almost as if when we surrender the mind, our body relaxes so deeply that we can feel the soul source energy totally within us. It is so lovely.
Yeah, and the nervous system also then calibrates the experience, which means things are beginning to integrate now. And so that's why stillness and softening is so important when we are going through challenging times, because we allow the nervous system to recalibrate that experience and then not see it as a threat anymore, or not see it as a trauma, or not see it as a thing, something that you need to resist, where you can actually just be present with it, allow it to move through, and it's done. And the nervous system then just allows that release and that transformation to happen. Beautiful.
And again, I just want to say your own experience helped this come through, helped this awareness, this new miraculous way of being be birthed on our planet and shared through you. And it's helping all of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, I'm so happy that I could at least share this brief journey with everyone. And, there is so much more that can be experienced if you come into my program beginning the end of the month. It really is a powerful program, not to say the least, because it's a container that if you are called, you have clearly really designed it for yourself. It is so powerful. It is designed in a way that it holds space and consciousness for you to really realize yourself, not just in thought, but in form, to be the embodiment of it. Imagine walking out of your door, feeling that essence just pour through your entire vessel, through your vocal cords, through your words. It just emanates right through you, just this new way of being, the embodiment. That's where most people struggle on this journey. They do a lot of healing work, a lot of fixing, a lot of seeing healers and spiritual teachers and all those things, but then they struggle to go out into the world and actually anchor in all of that wisdom into their daily embodiment, or their daily life, or their daily connections, or their daily experiences, and how they show up in the world, how they express themselves in the world, what they call to and repel from themselves. It's about the stabilizing and the grounding, and the embodiment part seems to be the threshold where most people on this path get stuck, because they can't move from the higher levels of energetic work and actually anchor and ground that down into form, and actually start putting that into practical movement, practical embodiment, practical actualizing what they know to be true. And so this is that part of the journey that this program is really focused on, is that embodiment, that actualizing, that true realization, not just in thought, but in every part of your being, to know who you are. Because when you know who you are, and you are expressing yourself in thought, word, and deed as your true essence, your whole state of being, your whole world shifts in accordance with that vibration, with that state of being. And so you then no longer living in the old sort of world that you were living in before. Everything shifts because your world inside of you has shifted, and you are embodying that world into form. When you speak, you're speaking from your soul. When you express yourself to others, you are embodying your highest potential. You are showing up as a mirror for others so that they can also realize themselves as that divine source consciousness.
We feel that. We actually feel that. And it is so beautiful and empowering. So, this is a great moment, Riana. Share with us more. I've put the special offer link in our Zoom chat box, and it's also wherever you're watching or listening to this program. It's in the description box. So, click that and tell us what's included, because this, as you mentioned, it's a 4-week journey. It's a sacred container that is so beautiful. All the programs we've done with you are so precious and uplifting. Tell us more
Yeah.
about this one.
I've never been so excited for a program before. I know my very first time on your show, Lauren, I introduced the Seraphim Order program. That is where they went through those source code initiations, and that was almost the entry level point for your ascended mastery, for the masters. And this program now is the progression or the advanced level upon that progresses from that program. Therefore, the Seraphim are also very much present in this process. In the book as well, they come through with beautiful initiations, and really take you through a beautiful journey over the 4 weeks within the program. It's not just the 4 weekly calls um, that is profound, but it's the entire 4 week period, because of the moment from the first call, the moment that you are um, in that space, for the entire 4 weeks, you are moving through an accelerated period of time of transformation, accelerated healing. I do not say that lightly, because if you know my work and you know of um, um, what the application of my work really entails, you will know that the clients and the students and the people that I work with, they are the ones that are ready for that full embodiment. They are the masters. They are really here to step into, to go all the way, to go to gold. They are here for it all. They're not here to just go to a certain level and live a mundane experience. They're here to completely realize themselves in every possible way. And so the natural consequence of you coming home to yourself, you coming into union with yourself, is your liberation. The natural consequence of you coming home to yourself is success, is well being, is enlightenment in every single moment, is actualized potential, possibilities. It is beyond, truly beyond anything that you have known. It is beyond fixing, as I said, beyond healing. It's beyond all that you have come to know up until now. And it's really that last part of embodiment, that threshold, that realization, that actualization of your true essence into form. So this program is 4 weeks. As I said, it starts on April 28th. If you can't make the live, that is okay. You will be provided with the replay, and you can listen to that for as many times as you want. You'll have it forever. And I would actually suggest you listen to it more than once if you do listen to it. That will allow a deeper layer of embodiment each time you listen to it. There's just something more that you gain access to every time that you are in that space. The first week is called Change Your Perspective, Change Your Life. This is where we go beyond perceived truths that we have cultivated over time, conditioned from our parents, our society, and our ancestors, and our lineage, and all of that. And we really move into a perspective where we can see ourselves through the eyes of Source, truly, not just in theory, but in embodiment. You will literally be taking on the lens of source in this experience and shifting your perspective and seeing through a different lens. It's really about moving past old constructed beliefs and ideas and old paradigms and coming into the resting awareness of the soul, of who you are. In the second week, we focus on your subconscious beliefs. And so we talk a bit about that. In each call, there's a teaching, and then there's a beautiful journey, an activation, a healing, or an initiation. And then third week, it's about cultivating radical acceptance. Once again, it's not just about seeing the change, but ultimately being the change and the embodiment of your highest potential. In that week, we're really going to anchor in and surrender like we've never surrendered before. There's a lot packed into these calls. It's not just a simple once-off type of teaching. There's a lot of, not layers, but there's a lot that goes into that week or that call. There's a lot that wants to be received through you, and it's not just theory. Once again, it's also practical. It's where you really come into that union with self once again. Week 4 is your ascended mastery integration. And this is where we enter the temple of the Seraphim. And we are met by these beautiful masters and by a lot of many other masters. And here you will sing a new song of creation into being. Your song, you begin to sing that into being. I don't want to go into much detail about it because it's just so expansive, it's beyond words, really. I'm trying to explain it in the simplest form, but it's beyond words. It's only something you can experience with me. If you have done the Seraphim Order program before and you are deeply called, then you are definitely ready for this. And it's not about when you sign into a program or a course or a session, it's not about what can I get out of this program? What is this going to give me? You should rather ask yourself, is this an opportunity I can afford to miss? Does this resonate with my soul? If it resonates with your soul, it is probably for you. You will know this is for you if your heart softens. You will know this is for you if your heart expands, if it is calling you. It's not going to be for everyone in the world. This is for those that are ready, that have walked the path, that are walking the path, that are ready for the next deep level of embodiment. And I know that if you are here today, you are probably one of them. And so I invite you, we welcome you into the sacred space, the sacred container. 4 weeks, 4 calls, but 4 weeks you are placed within a specific container, chamber of accelerated healing, expansion, realization, transformation, and it's going to be so miraculous. So you are welcome. If you are called, we would love to have you in the space.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is coming home to yourself, and we're going to be doing it in a 4-week space, moving through major transformation. And as we did today in this session, seeing ourselves through the eyes of God, that was so beautiful. That was effortless. And again, that's where I get the phrase, there's nothing to do with that state of being. It's so expansive, so loving, nurturing. And Linda in our comments said she's been waiting her whole life for the return of spirit within herself. Beautiful.
Beautiful. You see, you've said that so beautifully, Laura, and it truly is. There's nothing to do. This program is not about doing anything. You know, there are blocks and traumas and things within ourselves that we perceive when we look through that lens that can instantly heal, that can instantly transform. And I've seen it many, many times every day. But This program is not about doing anything, it's about returning to your being. And it's a beautiful space to be in. It's powerful. It is created just for you, by you, in co-creation with all of the masters. Um, you'll know if it's for you.
Yes.
You'll definitely know it's for you, and it's going to be beautiful. We would love, love, love to have you. Absolutely.
Yes. I just want to say, feeling how we were as we came into this call today and comparing it to what we feel now, that right there is magic. That is how we will know if this is beautiful for us. And we hope that everyone listening, live or to the replay, will join and experience this more deeply and fully in your own life. As you've heard, Riana is a beautiful guide for this because she's walked this in her own journey. And she is a great facilitator for the rest of us to experience and feel this in our own life, in our own hearts, surrendering the mind and stabilizing this state of sacred grace. Wonderful.
Mm.
And, there's another option, which is, I think, the cream of all, because it's personal time with you. And this is
Yeah,
really precious. Tell us about the
yeah.
session, 30 minutes with
I
you.
I actually I don't do once-off sessions that much anymore. I do ongoing mentorships, so extended private time with clients. But for this specific program, I felt so guided to offer this 30-minute Zoom session with me on a call where you can get specific individualized attention. Um, my work, the way that I work is very specific to each individual that I come across. Sometimes we can focus on healing, but most oftentimes you come in there with a specific intention or a goal or a thing you would like to focus on, and what you leave with is so much more, because you don't call me into your experience for just one thing. That I can promise you. You will not call me into your experience for just one tiny thing in your life. It is for a complete shake up of your path, a complete acceleration of your path, of your embodiment. And that is why you are here. I'm what people would call an initiator. So when you step into a container with me, you not only receive healing, you receive your highest timeline, your pathway forward, all of your possibilities and potentialities being ignited and activated in that moment. And I merely just hold up a mirror to your greatest potential, your greatest vision, your greatest dream. And I walk you through those thresholds that have been keeping you stuck for so long. I walk alongside you and we move through those thresholds swiftly, with ease, with grace, and into deeper states of embodiment. And so that 30-minute period of time, there's a lot can be done in that 30 minutes. Um, so if you are called to work specifically with me, I don't do once-off sessions very much anymore, almost not at all. But for this program, I'm happy to offer the once-off 30-minute session with the program if you are called to come and work with me on a much more intimate basis.
Thank you for opening yourself up to offering those sessions. I know they really do help people, and we are grateful for that. Very, very lovely of you. So thank you again. Okay, we have just a few minutes left, and I wanted to share a comment and a question about your program. It is the program of embodied mastery. How beautiful. Sophia Grace asks and says, I am in my waking life, walking life on one with the one source light. Yet at sleep time, I'm having bad dreams. And I'm wondering if your program will help this in my own area, in my
Oh,
gift.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because remember, this program covers everything. It's not a one-way path type of program. It covers the complete return of your realization, of your embodiment. When you're having those dreams, there's probably, obviously, reasons why you are having those dreams. Perhaps you are moving through or shifting, processing through certain things. Perhaps you are being given messages. It just depends on your situation. But when you come into that realized state of being, you see things with much more clarity. You're able to be in a more peaceful state and way of being, no matter what you are experiencing on the outside. So if that is, you asked that question, but it almost feels like that's not really why you needing to come to the program. There's so much more. There's so much more benefit to it for you than just that specific topic of the sleeping and the dreams at night. There's so much more that you will gain from it than just that. And remember, what you're gaining is just more of yourself, more of that alignment, more of that embodiment, that actualization of yourself. The dreams, if you want to come into a one-on-one session with me, we can definitely look into that for you. It doesn't feel anything negative. It just feels like moving through. It feels like you're moving through a threshold, like you're transitioning. That's the word. You are transitioning. So if you would like to step into a one-on-one container with me, we can definitely look at what that transition is for you, and we can help you move through that with absolute ease and grace. Absolutely. It could definitely benefit you.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. So here's an interesting one. We just have another moment left, but I wanted to get with this question. Linda says, I just had a dream with numbers very specific. Can you interpret them if I give them to you?
What are the numbers?
Here are the numbers. 77817.
Okay, instantly obviously we know, based on numerology, sevens is a very spiritual number. Eights has to do with abundance, or material wealth, or abundance in all areas. Ones has got to do with new beginnings, new pathways forward. And then sevens, once again, is spiritual. So that tells me that there's a new beginning in your spiritual abundance, or there's a new beginning in your spiritual pathway, and abundance is going to be opened up for you. It's all interlinked. It feels like it's not just tangible abundance in terms of material wealth. It can be, but it feels like abundance in different aspects of your life. It could be abundance in love, in joy, in experiences, opportunities, in connections, in flow, abundance in everything. It feels like abundance is about to pour in, or wants to pour in and into your life with this new beginning that is ahead of you. And it's got to do with your spiritual path. It's got to do with your spiritual alignment. It's very divinely or spiritually guided, is what it feels. If I were to interpret the numbers, that is how I would interpret the numbers for you, just off the bat. Spiritual alignment, abundance, and a new beginning, all inclusive, all in one. And that just feels like embodiment to me. Embodiment. Just taking that next step forward onto your journey, your new beginning, being fully aligned spiritually and opening up to infinite possibilities. That's what it is.
Thank you so much for that. And Linda, thank you, because we're all feeling that. Yeah, and there's 3 sevens. I saw that too.
Yeah.
3 sevens. Yeah. Beautiful, very spiritual, but new beginnings of abundance on that spiritual journey. Very cool. You're helping all of us, Linda, and so cool that you vividly remember those numbers in your dream. Very, very cool. Okay, well, that is all we have time for, and we encourage those who are being called through the heart to work with Riana for the personal session, or simply the 4-week journey, the 4 weeks of powerful transformation in the container. It's not just 4 separate courses or individual courses each week, but it's a 4-week journey, a container for those days that you will be in that transformational period. We invite you to check that out and work with Riana. She is so beautiful in the vibration that she brings, that today's experience is testimony to that. And so as we say goodbye, Riana, we thank you so much. Again, we're going to go back and listen to the replay to that journey. We can instantly reclaim that feeling of looking through our eyes as if the eyes of God, of being at peace with ourselves, of surrendering the mind. It is really a very empowering tool that you gave us today, an experience that we will walk with forever. Therefore, you've changed our world. Literally, you've changed our world today. And we are grateful for that. And we're grateful for everyone who's taking this out into the world. We've got a lot of work to do, but as we know, this is not work when we can look at our life through God's eyes. There's nothing to do. It's a state of being. And so as we say goodbye, Riana, I just want to give you a big heart hug of gratitude and offer you a moment for last final comments.
I'm just so grateful and so honored to be able to be in this space and to bring forward these inner knowings that we already have within us. And I'm just a conduit once again, that you've called me into your space to be this messenger, this mirror, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm honored to be here with all of you masters, and I'm so excited to see you in the container that's going to be happening at the end of the month if you are called. Thank you, Lauren. As always, you are beautiful inside and out, and I'm so grateful for this space, the sacred space that you created for this community. Absolutely honored. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Riana Arendse. We are so grateful for being in your presence today. It's wonderful to have you back, wonderful to see your transformation. And we really look forward to working with you and receiving more of your teachings, really of being in this state of beingness, which is so beautiful. Thank you, Riana, and thank you everyone for being here. We love you. Namaste. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.